Will Schuester. He's hot.
He is sexy.
He is sexy, and when are you guys gonna admit it?
I could see her as a feminist. And he's like, well, I thought she had a husband. Like, is she cheating on her husband?
Years ago, and I ended up actually breaking the boy's whole house.
The whole house.
I am here to invalidate your sexuality. I don't give a fuck. Talk Diva to me. Okay. Hello, everyone.
Hello, I'm Ella.
And I'm Catalina.
Wait, how do we usually start?
Welcome back.
Welcome back to Talk Diva to me. Awesome. Glad we figured that one out. All right, so we have a very interesting episode for you this week, and we'll get into it later. But we're going to start with our Diva of the Day. We're low on resources, so no picture. Use your imagination.
So in honor of OCD Awareness Month, we are dedicating today's Diva of the Day to Miss Khloe Kardashian, Miss Coco, Miss OCD Queen.
Miss CloCD.
Right.
Right. I think that Khloe Kardashian was the first person to ever have OCD. She had a little series called CloCD where she, showed us how she organizes her house. And I thought that was really powerful in destigmatizing mental health.
And she showed us how to stack Oreos.
Yeah, and that's really, I think, the biggest thing that people with OCD deal with. So I'm glad that she was brave enough to share her story.
I agree.
So happy OCD Awareness Month.
I was gonna share a cockroach poem that I created.
Okay.
But I just realized it's, there's no access.
I remember the poem you wrote.
You can share if you'd like.
You said, happy OCD Awareness Month. I will be falling asleep to the thought of choking on a cockroach. Hope you're celebrating.
Yeah, that was pretty much it.
Yeah,
So
really good memory photographic.
Okay, that was pretty quick. Oh.
Uh-oh. Okay. Diva Debrief. This is where we tell you where we are, why we're here. Here we go.
So it's been a tough week.
Yeah, and I bet you can tell just by our energy.
Yeah. Pretty bad luck this week, like concerningly bad luck. And we'll get into that. Basically, you want to start this off?
Yeah, so we're gonna start off with fleas. So I moved in July to our apartment, and I started getting bit like crazy, and I assumed that they were mosquito bites. But then I would go home to Florida and they would magically heal. And then I would come back and they would come back. And I'm like, okay, I'm a runner, it's because I'm outside. But then we started seeing little fleas jump around. And then Catalina moved in when we were seeing these fleas, and her feet looked like my feet. I won't be showing you freaks. But we have fleas in our bed, fleas on our couch, fleas on the carpet, fleas in our towels.
Up our pussies.
Up our pussies. I'm like, if it's on that carpet, is it on my carpet?
Right.
Yeah, so that's really scary. And so we were like, after every DIY thing ever to kill fleas, we set off 8 in total bug bombs, foggers, which means you have to leave the house for multiple hours, come back and clean everything.
And not just like scrub down the counters. No, you have to take every lying piece of like furniture or clothing, anything that's been sitting out that's going to like touch your body, you have to like deep clean in hot water, whatever the fuck.
Yeah, you have to take all the food, dishes, everything, put it away, put food in bags in the closet, and then it's a whole thing, okay? And that actually did not work. It did not work.
Yeah.
So we're like, it's time to bring in Bob Duncan.
Right.
And Bob Duncan came in the form of a man named Jimmy the Elephant.
Oh, Jimmy. Yeah. So I believe it was Wednesday. Yeah. So Wednesday, we both were just fed up with it all. Itching our feet to no end, practically bleeding.
Yeah, itching our vagina.
That one might be just you. But, so we're like, let's call an exterminator. And so I look it up, and apparently there's all of these like 24/7 same day service flea removal services. So we call one of them, and she's like, okay, yeah, I can set you guys up like for an appointment tomorrow from like 3 to 5. We're like, okay. And then she's like, actually, I do have an appointment for today.
Me when I lie.
We have a cancellation. Like, I can get you guys in today at 3 to 5. And we were like, okay, yeah, let's do it. So she's like, you need to do X, Y, and Z to prepare. So we did all the steps to prepare, which was getting rid of every single item on the floor, vacuuming all the carpets, mopping the floor with bleach,
taking every single piece of clothing that we have and anything that could possibly be put in a washer in plastic bags in the car to take to a laundromat.
Yeah, stripped our beds, washed our bedding. So our plan was we were going to wait for the exterminator to come, and then we have to evacuate for 4 hours once they do the treatment. So during those 4 hours, we're going to go to the laundromat and wash all of our shit to get rid of all the fleas. And then, 3 to 5 came and went.
It went.
And the exterminator that was supposed to show up,
Jimmy the Elephant.
Jimmy Elephant.
That was his name.
And I will name drop because you scammed us.
Yeah, we're not sorry.
And I hope you deal with fleas for the rest of your fucking life.
Yeah, I hope you get a flea in your... in your
hole.
Yeah.
So,
Whatever, I hope there's fleas in there.
Yeah. Whatever there is to put it in.
Yeah. Every crevice on your body, Jimmy Elephant.
Right.
But yeah, so they never came. And then we're like, well, fuck.
Yeah.
We can't stay here. I don't know if you can see, but as we're recording this, I'm itching, I'm scratching. I itched my feet so bad they were bleeding on our white hotel sheets. So we're like, we gotta go to a hotel.
Yeah.
Like, we've reached our pinky point, and we need to flee. Flee from the fleas.
And we also already had all of our shit packed up in bags in the car. Like, what were we gonna do? Unpack all the bedding and put it back on the beds and just sleep with the fleas?
We've been cuddling with the fleas for months.
I know, but it makes me want to throw up when I think about that.
Right. And so we checked into a hotel, and we slept here, and then we got up super early to go to our 8 a.m. class. But before that, I got on the phone, and they told us last night that they would call us in the morning because we had a no-show. They did not call us, so I called them, and I was like, hey, like, are they sending someone out today? And they were like, oh, we don't have any availability today.
Wait, pause.
What?
The fuck?
What's wrong? Was your mic off?
Weird.
So, we lost our mics, so sorry if the sound quality is bad, you know, forgive us. We're going through a lot. So basically, yesterday, when we called, they were like, oh, we close at 5 p.m. 24-hour service closes at 5 p.m. Crazy. So they're like, we'll call you in the morning. Okay, next morning, they don't call me. So I call them, and they're like, oh, like, we can't get anybody out today, not till Monday. Keep in mind, it's Thursday morning. So I'm like, absolutely not. So they're like, we're gonna call you back at 8 a.m., which we have an 8 a.m. class, which, like, okay, they'll call me back. I get it, it's early. And then we're like, let's call a different company. So we schedule with a different company, and then those motherfuckers never even called me back at 8 a.m. So I'm glad we scheduled with another company, but we fully got scammed by 24-hour flea service that closes at 5 p.m. And yeah, it's just a lot. And same day treatment. Crazy. So we're spending a second night in the hotel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So hopefully we'll get this figured out tomorrow, but anyway, we have some interesting stories because of all of this that's been going on. First off, the laundromat was a very interesting experience.
Oh, yes.
We brought basically our entire wardrobe, all of our bedding, or my bedding, and we lugged it all the way there in little trash bags that did not hold up very well.
No.
And there were a lot of characters there.
Yeah.
For example, when I was taking my garbage bags full of clothes into the building, a homeless man on the curb of the parking lot yelled at me and he said, "Bonita."
Aw.
And then he ran over to me and he said, you shouldn't be carrying those. You shouldn't be carrying those. And I was like, "Oh no, I'm good. And he was like about to like grab my bags for me and help me. But I was like, "Oh, I'm good. It's okay." He was like, "You shouldn't be carrying those." And I was like, "That is so sweet of you, but tell the rest of the world that."
Right.
What am I supposed to do about that? I mean, I get that he was trying to help, but I can't risk strangers touching my stuff.
Yeah, because you're going to see him on the street wearing your crop top.
Exactly.
Slay.
Wearing my Victoria's Secret pajama set.
I love that. It's so diva.
I would give it to him.
Yeah. And then we also saw a couple basically fucking in the parking lot outside the laundromat at like 1 a.m. I mean, good for them, I guess. Maybe I'm just like bitter, but I was like, is this allowed?
Yeah, I was not a fan of it. It was really intimate and like...
Asses were being grabbed.
And it just felt like, why do you have to do that in front of the front door?
Up the laundromat
like,
at
just
1 a.m.
Move like 5 feet over so I don't have to watch that.
And you only have to wait like 25 minutes for your laundry to be done.
Some people cannot keep it in their pants.
And I get that, but like, come on, time and place.
So yeah, we also, I came across this woman who was also doing her laundry there, and she approached me and she said, "Hey, how long have you been here?" I was like, "Oh, maybe a couple hours." And she's like, interrupts me and she's like, did you see what happened outside? And I was like, "What? No, what happened?" She was like, "Something with the truck. Did you see what happened with the truck outside?" I said, "No, I don't know." No. She was like, "I just missed it. I don't know what's happening. I just missed it. I must have just missed it." And so I was like, "Huh, that's really interesting." And then like half an hour goes by and we're finishing up our laundry and we're heading out, and she approaches us again and asks the same thing. She's like, "Do y'all know what happened with that truck outside?" "No, you just asked me that."
And she goes, "I was in a daze. I missed it. I was in a daze."
Like, I don't know what... By the way, we don't know what happened with we don't know what truck. Like,
yeah, there'd be no way of knowing, but it was really keeping her up.
We did not see any kind of like collision, any kind of...
No indication of chaos.
No, not in the slightest. So I don't know if she was playing pretend.
Yeah, that's actually really funny. Like me when I'm bored because my clothes are taking too long.
Literally. But she was hung up.
It was so stressful for her.
She was like, she needed to figure this out.
She was pacing.
She was literally pacing, looking out the window as if the truck was gonna like start moving.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So funny.
And she was lovely. So she's Diva.
Right.
Love her.
Oh no.
Anyway, another very unfortunate thing that happened this week was I woke up, I think the same morning that we tried to call it quits with the fleas and called an exterminator and got scammed. So that morning I had woken up and seen my MacBook on the ground next to my bed, meaning that it had fallen off of my bed. And that happens a lot, actually. And usually it survives. But unfortunately, this was the final straw. Because I opened my MacBook, it will not turn on. The entire screen is like, just those like, you know, you can just tell when the screen is just completely gone. So then I'm like, okay, that's really great because I actually really need this right now. Like so I do go to school and I do have work to do and projects due this week and all this. So I also have all these softwares downloaded on my computer. Like,
my biggest concern was, how are we gonna edit the podcast?
So then I'm looking at this video and it says that this guy dealt with something very similar where he dropped his computer off of his bed while he was sleeping, and then the screen went black and had this like navy-ish blue tint to it. And what he did was he went ahead and flipped over the computer, took a little screw, unscrewed all the little screws, lifted up the, back of it, played with some little strings, put the thing back on, flipped it back over, and computer was fixed.
Me when I lie.
I'm like, I'm not about to spend like $500 on a repair if I can just at least try to do this myself first. So I go to Walgreens and I pick up this pack of screwdrivers, and it says that it's a Phillips like 00 or whatever. So I look it up and it says that kind of screwdriver can open up a MacBook. I'm like, amazing, great. I take it home with me. It is not the right screwdriver in the slightest. So then I Instacart another set of screwdrivers from Home Depot. And those ones also say that they work for opening a MacBook. And so I'm like, okay, this will actually work, because they looked like they were actually the right shape. And then my beautiful Instacart shopper, Tiffany, she texts me and she says, hey, so I have what you need, but it's not the same price as on the app. And I was like, okay, that's fine. If it's the same one, get it. And she's like, yeah. And then it shows what she replaced it with, and it's just a whole other product. And I'm like, girl, please don't do this to me right now. Please don't. So then I had to go back and forth with her and be like, babe, I need this specific one. And finally she drops it off at my door, and she got the right one. And
Diva.
I was like, thank you so much, Lord. I open up the package. I put the screwdriver together. I go to stick it in my MacBook. It's not the right fucking screw. So Google lied to me not once, but twice.
Yeah, and my Catalina says, like, she stuck it in her MacBook, like, she was working on that thing.
Oh,
like,
yeah. So at that point, I was like, I can't do this. So I decided to make do with what I had, and I went ahead and used the wrong kind of screwdrivers to open up my MacBook, and that did actually just strip the screws, so that it just made it even harder to get loose. But after like about 48 hours of like nonstop tinkering with it, I did actually get all of the screws loose. And I opened it up, and we just do not have the same parts, me and this man on YouTube. We do not have the same computer.
Oh, parts, yeah.
Yeah. So I could not follow along, and moral of the story was there was no way to really restore my computer by myself, or possibly at all. So I went ahead and ordered a whole new laptop, and that's what we're working with today. But it was not very fun to deal with, and I did end up breaking my computer more by trying to fix it.
She was even fixing it in class. I look over, she's got a screwdriver out.
I know. I was like, I hope she doesn't notice me. Our professor.
Well, she's always looking at us, so.
I know. Anyway.
But you got a new one.
I got a new one. Well, first I ordered it from Best Buy. I find out the next day that it's been canceled. They didn't even send a text. I had to look it up myself, and when the order history had disappeared, I said, what the fuck? And it said canceled. So then I had to reorder it. And then we did get it. And that's all I need to say on that topic, because now I'm just getting myself
it's okay.
up.
It's okay.
But I did actually lose all of my files.
No, we don't need to get into this.
But there's still hope, kind of, but I don't want to get into it right now.
Yeah,
but
don't.
Yeah.
We're writers, so.
Yeah, so like basically everything I've ever written.
It's fine. We're going to talk about this later.
Anyway.
Thankfully, I have everything Catalina's ever written memorized to a T.
You're so right.
So. Okay. It just keeps getting worse.
Yeah.
It's hard to look at this spreadsheet.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
So, to top things off,
yeah.
Today we were heading to our hotel, so we needed to cross the street to get in our car to go ahead and drive.
What you do with the car.
Right, and we're standing like right next to the street, like on the curb, kind of just waiting for the cars to pass so then we can cross. All of a sudden, I feel a pull. And I'm like, am I being kidnapped right now? Like, is someone trying to take me? And then I feel like an attack. I feel clawing on me. And like the most vicious, out of nowhere, evil experience. I turn around and it's a dog.
We don't want to stigmatize pit bulls, but it was a pit bull.
I don't even know how to express the way I literally just felt something and I turned around, this dog is eating me alive. For no reason, like
chomping.
I didn't even see him coming. What did I do? Also, why was it me? Why wasn't I hurt?
Yeah, I'm kind of offended by that. But it was dark out, and so there would be no way of knowing, like, I didn't even see it until, like, it was on her.
Yeah, like, fully on me. And so I'm all bloody and bruised now.
There's, like, some light tooth marks.
Yeah, so hopefully I don't get rabies. But
that'd be good content for the podcast.
Yeah, and the owner took, like, a good 5 seconds.
Before doing anything about it?
Before, like, getting him off fully.
He wanted to see how much damage he could do.
And then, yeah. And that was, like, the dog on a leash and, like, with a very heavy-duty collar.
And, like, a chain leash. I don't know what that means, but it's kind of, like, weird because this morning we were talking about how pit bulls are stigmatized and deserve better. Because we met the most perfect pit bull.
This morning.
Look at this thing.
Oh.
Like, come on. We'd print out a picture if we had the resources. But, like, just a stray pit bull who was sitting and wagging his tail and looking up at us and like, don't pet stray dogs. I don't care. I pet that dog. Can I pet that dog?
He wasn't a stray. He had a collar.
It didn't have any information on it. And then we asked this guy and he was like, oh, he just runs around here. But it was a pit bull. And we pet him and he was just like so sweet. Like just letting us pet his little head.
He was really amazing.
So sweet.
I'll never forget him.
So yeah. So we're like, oh, we love pit bulls. Then the universe is like, we can't let them have anything today. So what happened this morning? Because we're at the end of the day, but let's rewind.
Yeah, so to top things off, today at class, my 8 a.m. class.
Also my 8 a.m.
Our 8 a.m. class, I drove us, we could have walked if we could have, slept in our own apartment, but because we were at the hotel, I had to drive. So I drove us to class. We come out of class, and there's my car in the same spot I park at every single day with a fucking ticket on it. All in the same fucking day.
And I wish they knew. Like, they don't know that how much money we spent. $65 on laundry yesterday.
Yeah.
On laundry.
Oh, we didn't even talk about the fact that we had to make multiple trips around the laundry.
Right.
We get there, I can't find my fucking detergent.
Right.
I'm looking through all my bags because I know I slipped it in there, and I'm like, I must have forgotten one of the bags at home. So we leave our stuff in the middle of the laundromat, and we go to Kroger. And we have to go buy laundry detergent.
That Kroger was bougie, though.
It was. And then we realized, hey, we don't have our wallets on us. So we actually have to go ahead and go back to the hotel. And then we can go to the laundromat.
Yeah. Yeah. So then we go back to the laundromat, and we've actually had the detergent the entire time.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So whoever gave Catalina that parking ticket, doesn't know how much an exterminator costs.
For real.
How much the follow-up costs. How much maybe a new mattress would cost? We did something wrong, and I don't know what it is.
I don't know who we pissed off.
But we pissed someone the fuck off.
Someone up there?
Because we are withering away. I fear it's down there.
Yeah.
Earlier this morning, Catalina was like, someone is not watching over us, but someone is watching under us.
Yeah.
That was really funny.
Thank you.
All right, well, moving on to more happier topics for now. I famously am single, so if any of those 20 subscribers want to reach out via 21 subscribers want to reach out via our email, talkdivatome@gmail.com.
Yeah.
Catalina is in charge of that, so she'll just.
I'm actually not. That's the one thing you're.
Oh, I'm in charge of that.
So.
I have not checked it, so I doubt anybody emailed us. But wait, no, we have lots of advice people want. Anyways,
yeah.
Just contact me through there. I digress. So I am famously against dating apps because one time I matched with this girl, Jennifer, and she texted me saying that she wanted me to collect 1,000 men and fight them in her honor. And then once I killed them all and there was just one left, we would fight for, you know, who could give her the better. And she would watch on her throne. And it was
That's disgusting.
It was a very long story. And I was just kind of terrified. So I was like, this is a sign. I need to get off these apps. So anyways, I am bored and need attention, you know. My apartment is falling apart at the seams.
Mm-hmm.
I need a win. I need someone to tell me I'm pretty.
Mm-hmm.
So I got Hinge, and let's just say I have no game. Catalina had to like help me set up my profile.
It's a tough watch.
It's a tough watch.
For sure.
Yeah, so I think I like did well with setting it up. Like,
Setting up was good.
we went through many edits, different pictures, and then like these dumbass prompts, I can't. They're so embarrassing.
Yeah.
It's like,
But you did good with them.
thank you. It's like setting a boundary means to me, I don't give a fuck what. I don't care.
Fuck your boundaries.
Well, but it's always like, I need my personal space. Okay? I didn't ask, Vanessa.
Every bitch and their mothers do.
Right. Or it's like, I first discovered my sexual orientation. I don't give a fuck. Okay?
Stop trauma dumping.
I don't care. I really don't. Unless it was the Can't Remember to Forget You music video featuring Shakira and Rihanna, I don't give a fuck.
Right.
And so, sorry, I'm getting worked up.
That's okay. I have my workup, you have yours.
Yeah. And so there's a lot of like dumb prompts. And then like when it asks you your sexuality, it's crazy. It is crazy. And I'm not here to invalidate anybody's sexual. I hate that word, invalidate. I hate it so much. Because it's like, are we people or are we robots? I am not here to invalidate anyone's sexuality or gender identity. I just don't think that the ones they put on the app, I want to know the statistics because, you know, a lot of them I was uneducated about, so I had to Google them. And I actually started finding myself identifying with some of these. So one that came up was autosexual. And if we have any autosexual divas out there, I love that. You know, go you. I've never heard about it till today, and I just educated myself. Autosexual people started, you know, gathering and like starting a movement in the early 19th century. And basically what autosexual means is that you are attracted to yourself more than you are attracted to other people. And I think it's very important to put a label on that because I finally have a word for that. You know, autosexual. Maybe. You know, sometimes you are just more attracted to yourself. But, you know, it goes a little bit further than that. It's like you know, masturbate to pictures of yourself and you only masturbate to, like, the visions of yourself. Which, like, if we have any divas out there that want to correct us on that, we don't want to stigmatize it. I just thought it was interesting because I, you know, found a little bit of an identity in there. But I'm like, so that's an option on Hinge. I don't know if I would, you know, match with somebody who...
It's bold to click that button.
It's very bold to click that button because it's also just like a sub thing. Like it's like, okay, you're autosexual, but like, are you into women? Because that's what I'm looking for.
Right.
So
like we can't just have, yeah, we're gonna need a little more than that.
Yeah, love that, but give me some more information.
Because why are you on Hinge if you're
right.
if you got nothing else to offer besides?
I guess it's like you can be with other people, but like you'll always love yourself more. Which I can relate to.
Is that like...
It's crazy.
Is that necessary?
It's not.
To be a whole, like...
No.
I think maybe that's just like a personality trait.
Right.
I don't think that's really
that
sexuality.
No. And like, there was more that was like, I've actually heard of some of the other ones where it's like, you're just attracted to people for being smart.
This is bullshit. I'm sorry. This is why nobody takes gay people seriously.
It's true.
I am here to invalidate your sexuality. I don't give a fuck. Because this shit is dumb as hell.
It is hard. And we're not talking about like, you know.
The main ones.
We're not talking about, you know, the first, 6 letters of the community, whatever that is.
Yeah.
We're talking about the ones, you know, very far down that plus,
yeah.
that LGBTQ plus.
Like very far down.
very far down that plus list.
Because Hinge is too inclusive.
And just very inclusive. Because I'm also attracted to smart people. So now I'm like, my identity is very complex. There's a lot going on there. But yeah, I think as, William love William, as women loving women, as lesbian and bisexual, as, gay people.
Okay, I'm here with you.
It's just a hard watch, because we have struggled, like, why did I struggle with my sexuality for years just for someone to come up to me and be like, I don't know how to tell you this, but like, I am more attracted to myself.
Or like, I don't know how to tell you this, like, I really think I can only date nerds. Like
if you're like, I need to send me brain pics.
Yeah.
Like, I get it. Diva, I get it. But like, I want to show you some journal entries from when I was 14. Yeah. I would like you to read them.
Me too.
Oh.
Me too.
Do you want to speak to them?
No, I do not. We will get there one day.
It's like, not to make it about me, but like,
yeah.
I just thought that was interesting.
It's our podcast.
It's our podcast. And if this gets out when we're famous and leaked and we're canceled, it's a growing opportunity. It's a learning moment. We were wrong, and
oh no, then I'll apologize.
Yeah, an apology will be genuine.
Sirens are calling.
In theory, so.
I just think people need to learn how to separate identity from things you like.
Right.
Like, I don't go around being like, I'm a pink sexual because I like the color pink.
I'm not. Right.
In theory, it can be.
In theory, I'm a pink sexual.
Yeah.
Like, I'm trying to think. Like, I am very attracted to what? Like, I'm attracted. Like, I'm trying to think of like a physical thing or like a
hair color.
Like, no, it's not like a defining characteristic. I'm attracted to magnetic people, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not a magnesexual.
Right. That would be a little weird.
That would be weird. That was a really bad example because anybody you're attracted to is magnetic. Well, maybe not. But
sometimes
I'm a chemisexual. I like chemistry.
Right.
Right. So I just think like yeah.
Sorry.
Go ahead.
I just was thinking like I feel like there's probably a sexuality for like having a thing for your teachers.
Guilty. See, my identity now is just so complex and I don't know, I don't know how to explain it to people, but, I am guilty of that 100%. Right now I'm actually struggling in class because of it.
Right. She is.
My sexuality is making it hard for me to go to class. And you're here telling me that you are attracted to people with a brain?
Yeah. Let's not go there,
All right, then. You have the authority.
You have the
authority. Yeah. But, my personality trait is liking women. But, it's just more socially acceptable for me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
But, yeah.
Yeah. Keep that shit to yourself.
I want to see your diary entry. And if that caused you stress at 14...
If at 14 you were writing, I don't know what to do because I'm only attracted to smart people and I'm literally going to go to hell and I can't do this and all my friends are going to be mad at me.
Send it to...
Speak on it.
Send me your diary and I will validate you. I'll read it on the podcast, Diva, and we will send out an apology. Because we never want to make you feel less than. Unless it's... what's the word? Unless it's... You know what I mean.
Sure.
Yeah.
Something else that I think is a little silly is the fact that Ella has no apps on her phone.
No.
My phone died the other night at the laundromat.
I have Hinge. Sorry.
And I was like, hey, can I look something up on your phone? She goes, yeah, I don't have Safari though. What do you mean? Because you can't just delete Safari.
I did.
So I'm like, okay, well, great. How do I look something up? She has this whole process. She had to Google.
Yeah. Well, I had to go through the search bar on my phone, type in Google, then go to Google something on Google.
Right. She also famously does not have, what was it that you were telling me about today? Was it settings?
Yeah, I don't have settings.
She doesn't have the settings app.
I have to go searching for it.
It was too addictive.
Oh yeah. There's too many settings that you could do. Like there's so many apps and like notifications and like settings for like do not disturb. Like it can get addicting.
I think it would be healthier for you to have social media at this point.
No, yeah. Well, I have Hinge now, which is basically social media. But Hinge is very bad for me. I get very addicted, and unfortunately I place my self-worth on if people think I'm pretty, funny, interesting, which, you know, at least I can admit that. At least I can admit I want attention. But yeah, like Google Maps is hard for me.
Yeah.
Because it's like there are so many places to scroll through. I had to leave social media because of my addiction. You know, and I get that like if you have an actual addiction that this sounds insensitive. And it's like, show me your diary entries of like your addiction. But like, you know, it was very serious.
I think you have the authority.
I think I have the authority.
I don't think you need to be.
No, it was an addiction. It was very bad. And so now, you know, you find social media in whatever you can, whether that's Etsy, you know, whether that's Google Maps, whether that's your settings app, you know. I may have to get rid of the clock app at this point because I've added so many countries.
Something is deeply wrong here.
But then when you looked up my Google, my search history came up.
Oh my god.
It was insane.
Scariest thing I've ever seen. First of all, the first thing that pops up is, why are there no employees at laundromats? Like, as we were sitting there, she Googled that at some point. Like, didn't bother, like, she could have asked me. I don't know. Like,
no, it wasn't even a question. Because everything I Google is a statement.
Right.
It wasn't a question. No employees are at laundromat.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then it was like a bunch of questions about King Princess life.
Yeah. King Princess bipolar.
Yeah, I was curious.
King Princess ex-girlfriend.
Reddit. King Prince. It was just everything about King Princess's life.
Yeah.
She's, as far as I know, she's not bipolar, but like I just felt like maybe that could be a thing. So I looked it up, and I was like, okay, Diva, and the stigma, maybe.
Right.
Yeah. So
I gotta start checking this phone more often.
Yeah. Oh, and then I just randomly searched Mauricio Umansky.
Yeah. I said, okay.
So I fear that we're about to get very worked up with this next topic, but so I famously got in a fight with my sister and my mentor about scallops because I'm like a hardcore vegetarian for years, and the only thing I eat is scallops because they're a bivalve. They're not an animal, they're a bivalve, and you know, there's a lot of articles and research on this. They're mollusk, you know, it's not the same as an animal. And so after I got in a fight with my sister because like, that's an animal, my mom's like, that's an animal, I'm like, stop invalidating my vegetarian identity.
Right.
So I
because
stopped.
they're not vegetarian.
They're not. Send me your diary entries. You do not have the authority. And so I stopped because I felt guilty about this bivalve that I was ingesting. So then Catalina and I are like, we want scallops. And I'm like, I got in a fight about this. And so then we're researching, and we come to the we come to the conclusion they are bivalves. We can eat them.
Bivalves?
Bivalves.
I don't know how to say it. I don't know.
But like they're they're like even more less of an animal than like a clam or a snail. Like
basically what I was shocked to find out was that this has been like a very prominent debate within the vegan vegetarian community for years now.
Vegan is crazy, yeah.
For vegans to be considering this, like that's like, whoa.
Right. It's essentially like a plant in the bottom of the ocean.
Right, because it doesn't feel pain, doesn't really have any...
It doesn't have a brain.
Right.
It's kind of like...
It doesn't make sense to me, but...
It's like Jell-O in the water.
Here's the thing. I refuse to eat any seafood because it all grosses me out. And something about scallops have just always sounded so good to me, and I've been told by so many people that if I were to ever eat like any kind of meat or seafood that I need to try scallops. And I'm like, wait, this is my world is coming together. Hello? Like
it's allowed.
Things are lining up. So then when we went grocery shopping,
which was a whole can of worms. I think we'll have to circle back to that.
Oh, wow.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't actually know how to talk about that one.
I don't know. I don't think.
We'll work around it.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, we went and we got scallops, and I don't care the price, I'm eating those.
Mhm.
You know, I'm not poor, I'm rich. So, we got them, and then Catalina had a whole health issue going on.
Yeah, just the usual.
Yeah, so I made them, and she, you know, was not in a state to eat them. But
Yeah.
I covered them in lemon, garlic, butter, put them on some egg noodles, salt, pepper. Like, I am incredible.
That is delicious.
And I broke a streak of vegetarianism. Well, actually, I accidentally ate meat twice in February, and it caused
That
me
is such a funny story.
several panic attacks. Yeah, so I was at my theater here that I work at as an actress, and burlesque dancer in the making, and the director of a show had made food for us, and it was my first time meeting these people, and he's like, have some potato salad. I'm like, no, I ate. And he's like, oh, no, I eat some potato salad. I'm like, I love potato salad. Let me just eat some. I'm eating it, and I realized that there are bacon bits in it, and so immediately my anxiety is taking over my body. And then I'm like, well, I can't throw it out because this is my first time meeting them. They're gonna think I'm rude, and I also can't not eat it. So I sit there holding back tears, eating the potato salad, and I got through it, and I tried to like suddenly like, you know, but like there's only so much you can do, and I went home and I just sobbed.
Yeah.
I sobbed. And then before that, I mistook Italian sausage for mushrooms. I don't want any sort of, you know, questions on that. I did. And I was lied to several times, and I had a mental breakdown so intense. I called every family member and just sobbed on the phone. So scallops are fine though.
Yeah. Anyway.
But you have had similar experiences.
Yeah. It's like a lot of people don't talk about the nightmare it is of just like being vegetarian, and like just the constant thought of like, oh my god, what if I get invited to go to dinner with this person's parents and they, you know, make me fish, and I don't eat fish, and then I get there but it's too late and I can't say I already ate because that would make no sense, but you know, I can't not eat it, and I can't tell them that I'm vegetarian when they've already made it, because then they're gonna feel so bad, and they're gonna offer to make me mac and cheese or something, and I don't want mac and cheese. I don't want them to make anything separate for me. Like that's been a reoccurring nightmare for my entire life.
Yeah. So you meat eaters, send us your diary, and we'll tell you if you have the authority, because that is real. That is very real.
Yeah.
Well, moving on. You know how we are workshopping like the name, like Diva grievances, Diva we can't figure it out. It's right in front of our faces. Grievances. We are so stupid sometimes, but we got around there. So this is our segment where we let the divas just go for it. So Helena, would you like to start with your grievances?
Yeah. So today I had a realization. I was cooking myself something or whatever, and I was like, it's so weird that like we quantify our foods, right? And I'm thinking, no scientist inspected this little croissant to count every individual calorie, every individual speck of protein, every individual speck of sugar. That is not how the world works.
Right.
And so that pisses me the fuck off, because I was like, why are we being told all this stuff with no proof?
No, you're so right.
Where is the proof of calories existing?
I don't see the calories.
I don't count them.
Are the calories in the room with us?
Mm-mm.
You're so right. How do they know?
They don't. I'm convinced that it's all a lie. They just like make up a number to be like, this is probably healthy for you, so let's give it, you know, a 100. This is probably like really bad for you, so let's give it a 1,000.
Right, and I'm always like, calories aren't real, like that's not real. But I wasn't ever thinking like, no, they literally are not real.
Yeah, what are they doing? Inspecting the fucking bread? Counting every individual calorie and protein? And no.
Wow, that is crazy.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thanks.
Next grievances that we have is like, I'm tired of everyone talking about red flags, okay? There are lots of things that I think are okay that are red flags. And like, I just don't understand why we're just easily writing people off because like society tells us like that's a red flag, you know?
Mm-hmm.
It's like, can we just like see some nuance?
Yeah, you're so right.
Right? It's like, we're just too quick to be like, absolutely not. And I say this as like me listening to audio messages on Hinge and just immediately clicking an X. As that person, I do say like, we are writing people off too fast for, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you have anything that like people think is a red flag that you're fine with?
I think a lot of things. Like, I think especially when it comes to men, like, men are just stupid, and you have to kind of have that little, like, filter on when you see them, when you speak to them, when you observe them in public, because a lot of the times, what we look at as a red flag, they don't even realize they're doing. They don't even realize that it's wrong.
Right.
And so it's, many of the times, they do know. And they are just like, yeah, red flags, whatever. But a lot of the times, they really are just poor, clueless little babies.
Helpless.
And it's like, you're gonna hand a red flag to a baby?
It doesn't have the motor skills to hold it up.
It cannot hold that shit.
Mm-mm.
So that's what I have to say.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot. Like, don't be best friends with your ex, okay? What am I gonna do? Stop being best friends with my ex? I don't care. So just things like that, where it's like, come on, like, you guys are too focused on the red flags.
You know what I did want to talk about this episode that I forgot? The Becca Moore.
Oh, go ahead.
I don't know if we do have time. We have a lot to get to.
No, we have time.
I'm scared.
We're being very controversial this episode.
I know.
So we don't have...
Should we save it?
No. We don't have any, like, public enemies so far with this podcast, but, you know, the fame isn't coming quick enough, so we gotta start.
Yeah, true.
So there is a YouTuber. Should we name her?
I already did.
Okay. So Becca Moore, oh my god, this is so controversial. We love Shannon Beveridge, you know.
Yeah.
If she's watching this, I'm available, you know, let me know. But she recently started dating Becca Moore. And, like, at first we're obsessed. You know, two pretty girls, okay. But we were watching Becca Moore's podcast, and a lot of it is about, you know, my first time with a woman, my first date with a woman, how I flirted with my first woman, just, like, so many episodes like that.
What I did in bed with my first girlfriend, who everyone on the internet knows is Shannon Beveridge.
We know it's Shannon Beveridge.
Like, that just if Shannon's fine with all that, none of my business. I'm just like, the whole thing just feels a little icky, because it's like, why are we, like, capitalizing so hard off of all of these? It'd be different if it was, like, genuine, like, hey guys, like, I know this is hard stuff to deal with, and so I'm gonna come out and share my story to help you guys not feel less alone.
How to navigate this kind of stuff as like a newbie.
I think that's what she's trying to do, but I think she's like...
And I relied on videos like that as a young Leslie, so...
I think she's just missing the mark a little bit, and it just feels very much so like she's just like trying to profit off of it.
And we watch these podcasts. A lot of them are not even helpful. Like the title will be like, my first time with a girl, and it's like some, you know, and she's like, this is going to be very X-rated, you know, and then I'm like, if this is X-rated, we're Pornhub on this podcast.
Literally.
Because she didn't really talk about anything. It was just kind of like, you know, make sure, you know, everybody, make sure, you know, everybody, make sure you really like the person, and make sure, like, you are, you know, you want to do it, and make sure that you know, feel good about it. And I'm like, yes, but did this need to be a 45 whatever minute podcast? Now, we're not here to speak on that, but it was just interesting because we were watching it and we were getting kind of worked up, because, like, if you're gonna say that it's X-rated, but, you know, it's important, tell us what it's really like to be with a woman for the first time, instead of beating around the bush, the merkin. you know, it was just like the most unhelpful thing I've ever seen in my life. And there's a lot like that. And then, yeah, I also have a thing with, like, you know, I love men, you know. I am a men-loving lesbian, you know. Adam Driver, iconic. Justin Timberlake, iconic. Zac Efron, iconic. I love them. And, you know, I've had this is going to be a really long podcast.
That's all right.
I've had this whole, you know, trouble grappling with, you know, how women are not taken seriously whatsoever in the world, but also primarily, like, lesbian women. Like, you know, when you come out at a very young age, it's like, okay, we're going to wait this one out. You know, like, this is, you know, probably something that is going to go away. And, like, you just, you know, you're a hot mess, girl. And then that kind of manifests into being a perfectionist because you have to, like, compensate for, like, this hot mess that you are by not being a hot mess in any other areas. And then you finally reach this age where it's, like, acceptable for you to claim that you're a lesbian. You know, you've waited it out and it's still there. And that's just, like, being a woman, but then being a woman who likes other women and doesn't like men, it's, like, very hard for people to deal with. And then once you are at that age or period in your life, or you have proof that you're a lesbian, you know, you're in a relationship and people are like, oh, she is a lesbian, even though, like, you know, people are straight and haven't been in relationships until they're, like, 30. But no one is like, well, I am like that. But it's just very interesting. And then once you are there, if you have to, like, lie. Like, people act like they are blind. They act like it's, like, a diet of some sort. They act like they're restricted. And it's like, how could you say that Adam Driver is hot if you're a lesbian? It's like, I'm not fucking blind. I'm not dead. Doesn't mean I see a life with him. Doesn't mean I want to go out with him. Doesn't mean I want to do the darn thing with him. I just, like, you know how straight girls are like, that girl is really hot. She's pretty. Doesn't mean they want to go all the way. I mean, probably. But, like, you know what I mean? They don't want to date them. They don't want them to be their life partner. It's just an observation, you know? So it's just very interesting how women aren't taken seriously. And as soon as you say that, it's like back to square one. You're invalidated. You have to prove yourself again. And, you know, being a lesbian is just who I've always been. And I don't feel restricted by that. It's just who I am. I'm finally comfortable enough to be like, yeah, Zac Efron is sexy, and that doesn't invalidate me. So all of that to say, when Becca Moore was talking about, like, oh, like, my ex-boyfriend was like Jason from Finance, but now, like, women are so much better, it's like, don't disregard Jason from Finance. You don't need to do that to prove, like, and this isn't even me criticizing her, it's just like, you don't have to, like, act like men are so horrible just to prove that you're a lesbian. Except, like, the men that have wronged you, you know, that's fine. But, like, you know, dating girls is hard. You know, women suck too, you know? Not in a sexual way, well, yes. But, but, like, there's issues too. A lot of issues. And it's not this, like, dream world that's, like, an escape from men. It's just, like, what you are born with and who you are. And let me hand the mic over to Catalina.
Oh.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm exhausted.
Hey, I have a question.
Yeah.
Do you think they're gonna think we're gay after this?
Yeah, I hope not. We said that up to the last podcast and we talked about eating pussy for, like, almost 2 hours. We're like, do you think they're gonna think we're gay?
Anyway.
I don't remember ever confirming to be a lesbian, but up to interpretation.
Yeah. These are all you.
I fear we'll need to save some of these, but
Yes.
Speed round of Divas. Actors who claim they've never watched any of their work. Stop lying. Every time we release a podcast, I watch it 7 times.
Yeah.
It's like Kelly will walk into the room, I'm watching it on the TV. Like, stop. Like, oh, see, Pearl's like, I've never seen The Office. Me when I lie. Another one is the song Imagine by John Lennon. The most ignorant song I've ever heard. People are like, this is so beautiful. It's so life-changing. What? Imagine there's no religion. I validated every religion ever. Imagine, you know, all of the things where he's like, imagine. It's like, it's very much giving, like, I don't see color. I don't see, you know, it's very, like, what are you talking about, you know? He just wants everybody to, like, ignore their roots, ignore anything they believe in, and just be human. And it's like, that is such a privileged point of looking at the world. Like, there is nuance. Anyways, it's, like, very much, like, naive. But people praise it. The Barbie monologue. I love Barbie. I love America Ferrera. She's my favorite actress ever. Yeah. However, that Barbie monologue was some Tumblr posts strung together.
100%.
It did nothing for feminism.
Literally.
Yeah.
I've heard it all before.
I've heard it a million times. It's on Target t-shirts.
Literally.
Right.
It was on 7th grade girls' Snapchat stories.
Yeah. Yeah. It was like, being a woman is, this is me like 5 seconds ago, but it's like, being a woman is hard. Girl power. We can never do anything right. Girl power.
Yeah.
And like, amazing actress. She deserved that nomination. I love her. But they gave her what?
Who writes for this?
Who writes for this? Derogatory. Last is on, no, not last. On E! Online, like the E! News, or even any articles for that matter, they're always referring to the most obscure thing that like the actor or celebrity has been in. They'll be like talking about Rebel Wilson, and they'll say some like weird indie film she's in and be like, the actor from blah 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 states that. I'm like, what? Or if they're talking about Taylor Swift, they'll be like, the You're Not Sorry singer, and it's like, whoa, like, is there another way we can identify her? It's just always the most random piece of media that they've like ever been in.
Mm-hmm.
And that just drives me crazy. And then do you want to take away the last one?
I just think it's so funny that in all of the Real Housewives franchises, they are always talking about Radar Online.
I need to know how many housewives have exited the show over Radar Online.
Have any of you guys ever been to Radar Online?
I've never
Because
even heard of
personally,
it.
I have never typed that into my computer. I have never heard of that besides on the show.
Mm-mm.
Do they know that nobody else is in on this?
Like, I know you gave information to Radar Online. I know you have friends there. I know you're leaking this to Radar Online. Never even heard of Radar Online.
Like, nobody's watching that. Like, you don't have to worry about that.
People have left the show over it.
Yeah.
So crazy.
Love.
All right, well, do we want to do some stories?
I think we can.
Okay, we have some time.
Yeah.
So you take this one away.
So I was telling Ella this the other day because we famously do not do our dishes. And,
That has nothing to do with the fleas, though. That's not where fleas come from.
correct.
The roaches is possible.
It's possible. But, I don't know. Somehow Tupperware came up. And I was basically like, oh, I remember what it was. I didn't want to wash my dish because I was so lazy. And I was like, oh, I want to just throw this out so bad. Because it's just like a plastic bowl, you know?
Right.
Of course I didn't. But, it did get me thinking back to the time where in elementary school, my mom would pack me lunches, and middle school too, in like these little Tupperware containers, the plastic ones. Okay, I'm not that evil. And I'd be like,
don't worry, she'll just shit in them.
No. I would be like, I don't want to like carry around the Tupperware after I eat my lunch because then it's just like a tub of like gross like residue of my lunch sitting and flopping around in my backpack. I don't fucking want that shit. And so I would throw it out. I would throw out the Tupperware every single day. And I would come home and my mom was like, where is it? I said, I'm gonna tell you this once again. I am not coming home with those. That is not what I will be doing.
You have way too much confidence as a child.
I know.
Like, send it one more time and see what happens. That is so funny. And it pisses me off, but it's so funny. Oh my god. So when I was in the 5th grade, we had a speech competition. So every class in the 5th grade did a little one, and then the winners from those went in front of an assembly with parents and friends and just the whole darn school. I love that word today, darn. And so I won my class one. No big deal. And so I got to advance to the final at the assembly in front of, parents, everything. So my, the topic was a landmark, and so I obviously chose the Hollywood sign because I don't know any other landmarks. Yeah. But instead of making it about, what it probably should have been about, I made it about, everyone who's committed suicide on the Hollywood sign. It's in 5th grade. And like how they committed the suicide, like, and then she swan dived off the cliff.
Ooh.
I did not win that one, but it's crazy that I won the one in my class.
Yeah.
And like nobody checked up on me after that.
That is really interesting.
Right. No, there were nurses. No, like no one asked, so I'm fine. But yeah. So do you want to talk about?
Oh,
Yeah.
right. This is a more recent story, but I just had
No
this-
excuse.
I just had this, I don't know how this came back up, but who cares? I just had this memory of when I went to a Halloween party a few years ago, and I ended up actually breaking the boys' whole house.
The whole house.
And I don't know how it happened. I don't know how it happened. I just remember
You and I lied.
I ended up in a bedroom alone at some point because I was just probably wandering, as I do.
Mm-hmm.
And next thing I know, there's a closet door on top of me.
It's not great.
And I'm like, oh, how'd this get here? So then I'm pushing it back up, and I finally get it back up, and my friends walk in the room, and right as they're walking in, it falls right back down on me. I wasn't like on the ground, like I like kind of stopped it, but I was like there
Right.
kind of, and I had to like get people to help me. And I just, how do you break a closet door is my thing.
You know the answer to that, not me.
I just don't. And then later that night, I was hanging out in the bathtub of one of the bathrooms because I needed a place to sit.
That's where bathtubs are.
And it was a big party, and I wanted to hang out and chat with people in the bathroom. So I was hanging out in the bathtub, and then I did actually, I turned on the shower by accident for just a second. And then I went to get up, and I grabbed the shower handle to pull myself up, broke the shower handle off of the shower door. And I just think about all of this a lot because I'm like, I really broke this kid's whole house. No mercy. Like, and I wish I could fix it for him, but what was I gonna do?
Right. It's crazy.
So, do with that what you will. I miss
Right.
the era of my life. Breaking houses.
Yeah, breaking houses.
Open.
This is we said stories. What the fuck? This is Divas in Training, this segment.
Kind of, but mine was too recent to be.
You were still training.
I was still training.
You were still training.
Training, bro.
Yeah. So my last one is that when I was in middle school, our Spanish teacher, you know, people were talking, you know, gossip was starting, and there's this guy in my class who's like, "Do you think she's a feminist?" And I was like, "Yeah, you know, I could see her as a feminist." And he's like, "Well, I thought she had a husband. Like, is she cheating on her husband?" And I'm like, "So what do you mean?" And he's like, "Well, a feminist is a lesbian." He had a point, but I was like, so no, not quite. And he was like, what's the difference between, you know, a lesbian and a feminist? And this became like a group thing. Like people were like, what is a feminist is different from a lesbian? And you know me, I thought I had all the answers, which I kind of did, but I was like, no, you see, because a feminist wants equal rights for men and women, and it's like a, you know, a social movement. A lesbian means you want to be with women. You don't necessarily care about their rights, but you want to be with them, you know, and that's more of, you know, like a sexual movement. So I literally had to map out for these people in middle school the difference between a lesbian and a feminist, and we came to the conclusion that she wasn't cheating on her husband, but she might want equal rights for her and her husband.
All right.
Right.
I can get on board with that.
Yeah. All right, well, let's finish it off with some unexpected divas.
Our last and final, but not least, segment. First one, I'll kick this off. That voice on the phone when you like call someone and she goes, "The phone number you were trying to reach is no longer available." That one's good?
Yeah.
Or like
the one's like, press 1.
Yeah.
Press 2.
That was what I was gonna say next. Yeah, I like that one.
Type your zip code.
Yeah. All of them.
Diva. I don't
Round
know.
them up, put them in Roku City.
Right.
Have a field day.
A diva lives in the phone.
Yes.
That's amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Diva. Another unexpected diva is people who put careers in their Instagram bio, but it's fake. So it'd be like Ella, arcade, then the bio.
Mm-hmm.
Or like Catalina, amusement park, and then the bio.
Yeah. So I actually hate that so much.
Okay.
I was waiting to speak on this.
Okay.
But I do not think that there is anything less funny.
Really?
Yeah.
Awkward.
because it is just everyone does it. I don't think there's anything wrong with doing it, but I don't think anyone should be praised for doing it.
Okay.
Especially the ones that are like, cannabis store. It's like, good one. I'm laughing.
Yeah, good one.
You're not a cannabis store. You're an 18-year-old girl. That is so funny.
Yeah, that's not funny. I'd like to take back what I said.
No, but I also feel bad because I know a lot of people, and I'm friends with a lot of people who have that. It's just a personal preference thing.
You know who has that?
Who? No clue what you just said. How do you know that?
Because I saw it when she followed you.
Okay, I
I'm
take it
addicted
back.
to
I take it all
social
back.
Yeah, oh!
I take it all back. Let me rewind. I never said that.
Let me
I don't know what you're
frog
talking
away
about.
from that. Yeah. So another unexpected diva is frozen yogurt era Demi Lovato.
Yeah.
This is a whole can of worms. Would you like to start?
I don't know. I don't know if I have anything to say on this one.
Really?
We've had very nuanced discussions about it, and
Right.
I think we're pretty much on agreement with most
Right.
of it. I do think it is like probably one of the funniest things to ever
It's iconic.
ever.
You know, everybody came for her, but she was right.
Well,
She was right.
in some aspects, yeah.
Yeah, so basically, like, you all know the story, you know, the frozen yogurt, she blasted them on Instagram for, you know, catering to people with celiac and whatever. She didn't say that, but that's what the narrative was. And, you know, she did DM them and be like, the customer is always right. You know, not her best moment. But, you know, it was the pandemic. Everybody was acting
The girl
out.
overdosed. Give her a break.
Yeah, give her a break. She could cut a pixie cut. Like, she was looking for ghosts. She was going through it, right? Which I have more to say on that. But basically, I knew what she was trying to say. What she posted was Instagram Live that she was doing, and she was basically saying how these stores, like, subliminally. Thank you, dirty. Can you say it again?
Subliminally.
Message to, you know, guilt-free, you know, it's just language like that like, you know, makes you seeps into your consciousness, your subconscious,
Right.
and makes you think, oh, I should feel guilty about that. That's what she was trying to say, which, like, smart.
Right. I just don't think that was the audience for that.
No.
Like, not in this, like, they are not the problem here. They are very low on the food chain.
Right. So, like, you know, I understood what she was saying, but I fear it was only Lovato who did. Right.
That gave me the shivers.
Because I used to famously post a lot about Demi Lovato
Mm-hmm.
on my Instagram.
Sounds right.
Yeah. But, yeah, so that just bothers me because she was being so diva in that moment, and they couldn't handle it.
Yeah. That was diva. It was diva. I like that.
Right. And it also I'm ranting this episode.
Go ahead.
It also bothers me with celebrities when, like, anytime, like, you know, their body changes a bit, it's like, oh, we lost her again.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I see it with Meghan Trainor. Like, everybody used to hate Meghan Trainor, but now that, you know, she looks a bit different, it's, oh my god, iconic queen, I love you.
Mm-hmm.
But she was, like, you know, embarrassing and, like, you know, unfunny in the past. And, like, you know, I think that bleeds over to, like, Amy Schumer. I think that bleeds over to Demi Lovato. You know, now that Demi Lovato is, like, you know, whatever it is, she looks different. People are like, oh, so glad to see her finally, you know, where she's at. And it's like, well, it's just such a clear, every time there's any fluctuation in anything, it's like, oh, you know, it's so good to have her back. And it's like, I can't.
Final unexpected diva. And don't get angry, okay?
A lot of people will be angry right now.
Yeah. Will Schuster. He's hot.
He is sexy.
He is sexy, and when are you guys gonna admit it? Because I'm sick of this.
Mr. Shu, let me be your Britney.
I'm sick of everyone saying, "Oh my God, you think it too. Look deep within you."
He's a freak. Ew. Oh, he's in my sleep paralysis demon.
Yeah, for the wrong reasons.
Yeah, I have sleep paralysis, and it's not him.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So, it's just, like, people are scared of the truth.
Right. Just say you have sex dreams about him, and don't
Move
want to
on.
admit it. Yeah.
Right. Have you ever heard that man sing?
Oh my god.
It's like, it's sex.
It is, yeah. He's like the Walmart version of Justin Timberlake.
And that's hot.
And that's hot.
Any version of Justin Timberlake.
Is hot.
And like, why are we lying?
Yeah.
And like, people are like, oh, he's creepy. He was given a bad edit. He was given the villain edit.
Yes. He was.
So yeah.
Finally, I think we should show our tattoos.
Oh yeah!
We got tattoos today!
Yes, we did! My knees are out. We needed a win, so we gave ourselves one.
Yeah.
Would you like to show yours?
Here's mine. It's Lola from Charlie and Lola.
Her name was Lola.
Love her so much.
She is the cutest thing ever.
So yeah, that's me.
Yeah, and of course we had to twin in some capacity.
Yeah.
This is our second, like, tattoo together. So, where is it? Oh, it's here. So I also got a cartoon that I liked when I was younger, but it's not a cartoon, but I got Lizzie McGuire. Ah! I love her. Lizzie McGuire.
Amazing.
Right. So yeah, we needed a win. There it is.
I hope you guys loved this episode.
I'm sorry for being so rageful.
Please like, share, and subscribe, and
Diva later.
yeah, Diva later.
Okay.